The simplest explanation, the aquarium nitrogen cycle is a chemical process that happens in your tank that converts very toxic fish waste into a much less toxic form so that your fish can survive in your glass box. That's the low down dirty of it, that's it. Your fish poop and pee and breathe ammonia into the tank that will kill them. And the nitrogen cycle simply converts that ammonia into a much less toxic form, keeping the water clean and safe for them to a certain extent. But this is why the nitrogen cycle is so important to understand. Without it happening in your tank, your fish are gonna die. And in case you didn't know, it's a very silent killer. No sound, smell, sight, or any indication at all will tell you that your fish are being poisoned as you're staring right at them thinking, they're so cute, they'll just be dead one morning. But we're gonna prevent that by understanding and making sure that this chemical process is happening in our tank. You ready? Let's go. So why are we going over the nitrogen cycle again on this channel? Well, while we're not officially in October yet, it is the fall season. And I feel that the aquarium hobby grows the most in the fall and winter seasons simply because we're inside more. So I've decided that the entire month of October is gonna be beginner's month here on the channel. Every year, Kev? Yes, every year. But it's not even October yet. Yes, I'm aware, bro. Chill. That's right, we're going back to basics so that you, the beginner, can get started with accurate information to give you the best chance at success in order for your newfound hobby to become a lifelong journey. And don't worry, vets, I didn't forget about you. I have a pretty big announcement at the end of the video that I think you're gonna like, so stick around and refresh your beginner foundation with me and the newbies. In my opinion, the nitrogen cycle is probably the most important piece of information you're gonna need to understand in this fish keeping lifestyle. Before choosing a tank or equipment or even what kind of fish you want, none of that will matter if you don't understand this, because without it, you'll end up quitting before you even get going. Let's dive in. The nitrogen cycle is a process that converts ammonia to nitrite and then nitrite to nitrate. Do not confuse nitrite with an I and nitrate with an A, because they are two very different things. I know these words might seem a bit intimidating to you right now, but I promise you, you're gonna hear them a million times during this journey. So don't even stress it. Before you know it, you're going to be saying things like water parameters and filter media and furthermore. Your friends and family will come over and you'll start talking like you've been a marine biologist your whole life. And you'll sound pretty convincing too. At that point, I hope you drop a shout out and send them over to KaveMan Aquatics. I appreciate the love. As previously stated, fish excrete ammonia through their gills when they breathe. It's a natural byproduct that fish produce. Furthermore, fish produce organic waste when they poop and pee, which decomposes and also contributes to the ammonia levels in your water. Furthermore, any other organic compound like uneaten food, dead plants, dead fish, anything organic will also decompose into ammonia. And we've already established that ammonia is very deadly to our fish, so enter the first stage of the nitrogen cycle.
Round one, fight!
When ammonia is present in your aquarium, along with oxygen and surface area, a bacteria will begin to grow, which we call beneficial bacteria, or BB for short. Yes, there's a scientific name for this type of bacteria, but you'll never need to remember it. I don't even remember it, but I'll put it down here in case you guys really want to know. This bacteria is a living, breathing organism, and it needs food, oxygen, and surface area to live on. The last two you should have plenty of, but its food source is going to be the ammonia in the tank. Consuming that ammonia is how ammonia is removed from your tank water. After they consume it though, they then excrete another toxic compound called nitrite. This is how the conversion from ammonia to nitrite happens. Now, nitrite is another very toxic compound. You don't want any of it in your tank either. So how do we get rid of that? Once nitrite is present, along with the same oxygen and surface area, another type of bacteria will begin to grow. We also just lump these in with the same term, beneficial bacteria, but here you go for all you curious cats out there. The difference in these bacteria from the previous ones is that these consume nitrite for food instead of ammonia. And what do you think that these guys excrete? You got it, nitrate. These bacteria complete the conversion of nitrite to nitrate. So what's nitrate? Nitrate is also a toxic inorganic compound, but it's far less toxic than ammonia and nitrite. Your fish are gonna be happy and thriving in low levels of nitrate. But if they get too high, then it can absolutely be toxic and cause stress, which can lead to disease, which can lead to death. So what's too high? Typically the hobby standard is anywhere around 40 parts per million of nitrate can start to become toxic to your fish. Now, take that number with a grain of salt, because there's plenty of studies done that say adult fish can tolerate much more than that, like much more. But For now, stick to 40 parts per million as your indication that it's time to remove those nitrates. As you progress in your journey and find the research that sits well with you, it'll be up to you to decide if you wanted to keep your fish in levels above that. Me personally, I can say that at one point in time, my nitrate levels in my overstocked African cichlid tank would reach between 80 and 160 parts per million before removing the nitrates, and my fish have always done well. Now, I'm not telling you to let your tank reach those levels. No, no, no. I'm just saying this journey will have you testing and trying new things for yourself to figure out. Channels like this are merely a guide to show you a path. Full disclosure though, channels like this will also have you considering getting big, huge tanks like a crazy person, so you've been warned. Now, many of us consider this conversion to nitrate as the end of the nitrogen cycle, but not really. There's another process called denitrification, which converts nitrates into nitrogen gas, which escapes from your tank in gas form, but that's too much, too fast. You'll have plenty of time to learn more about that stuff. But if you really wanted to know about it, this series will be very informative. So I mentioned removing the nitrates a few times. So how do we do that? One way is that denitrifying process I mentioned, which is very difficult to do. That's why we didn't talk about it. Another is to stuff your tank with live plants that actually consume the nitrates. But the most common way is by doing water changes. When you water change, you remove old water that's full of nitrates and you add in fresh new water that doesn't have nitrates. In a perfect world. And then the process begins all over again. I say in a perfect world because some of us have nitrates in our source tap water. It is what it is. Once you have both of these type of bacteria present in your tank, and plenty of them, your tank is officially cycled, meaning there's zero ammonia and zero nitrite in the tank, and you're beginning to form some nitrates. Now your tank is capable of sustaining life and keeping happy, healthy fish. But how long does it take for these bacteria to grow in order to cycle the tank? Typically anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks if done the traditional way, but we're in 2023 now, guys, and traditional is not the only way. Now, before I answer your next question, first, to the veterans who stuck with me this far, as promised, the big announcement is I've officially decided to dive into my first ever saltwater reef tank. After this October's beginner month is complete, I'll have a link down in the description below for saltwater beginner series. And if you're as excited as I am and you can't wait, leave a saltwater comment below and let me know. Saltwater tank is gonna go right there. Cooper, you're gonna have to find a new place, buddy. Back to freshwater beginners, your next question is probably, how the heck are you supposed to know if nitrates reach 40 parts per million or if the ammonia and the nitrite have even been removed from your tank? How do you know? Well, you're gonna need a test kit. But let me say that with a little bit more gusto. You're gonna need a test kit. There is no avoiding it, and that video will show you exactly how to use one of the best and most accurate test kits on the market, step by step. Before you go, drop a like if you found this video helpful, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on the other side. Peace.